Hello, geographers. Welcome. Today we are exploring one of our most fascinating forces shaping Earth's landscape. It's the wind. While it's often overshadowed by water, wind is an excellent shaper of our landscape. So let's get in. Okay, fantastic. So wind is essentially horizontal air movement, though it frequently includes some vertical components due to turbulence. If you've ever observed sand or dust devils dancing across the desert, you're witnessing this turbulence in action. Interestingly, wind flows over land much like water flows over a stream bed, creating a similar pattern but through a different medium. The term aeolian process refers to any landscape modifications caused by wind action. It's named after Aeolus, the Greek god of wind. These processes reach their peak intensity in dry regions where vegetation is sparse and loose sediment is abundant. So let's examine how these processes shape our world. So uh, wind erodes the landscape in two primary ways, deflation and abrasion. So first, deflation occurs when wind simply lifts and removes loose particles from the surface. This creates distinctive features called blowouts. Shallow depressions where fine material has been essentially vacuumed away by persistent winds. The Dust Bowl of the 1930s in the Great American Plains demonstrates deflation's power. When drought and poor agricultural practices exposed topsoil, wind created massive blowouts and carried away millions of tons of valuable soil. In desert regions, deflation works alongside fluvial processes to create what we call a reg, a desert pavement of gravel and coarse fragments left behind after final particles have been removed. The Gibber Plains of Australia's Simpson Desert offer a great example where wind has stripped away everything but a layer of polished stones. The next action is abrasion. This abrasion functions like a natural sandblasting. While less powerful than water erosion, wind-driven sand particles can pit and etch fat and faucet and polish exposed rocks. In Egypt's White Desert, wind abrasion has sculpted chalk formations into surreal mushroom-like shapes with their bases narrow by constant sandblasting effect. The Aeolian so the Aeolian transportation. So wind transports material similarly to water, but with important differences. Unlike water, which can move large objects, wind primarily moves smaller particles through three mechanisms. The first is suspension, which carries the finest dust particles high into the atmosphere. The second is saltation. This bounces sand-sized particles along the surface. And the third is surface creep, and this rolls larger particles along the ground. Dust storms can extend hundreds of meters vertically and transport material over 1,000 miles horizontally and carry thousands of tons of suspended particles. The global dust movement from the Sahara Desert to the Amazon rainforest demonstrates this incredible reach. Saharan dust storms have crossed the Atlantic Ocean, depositing nutrients that then have fertilized the Amazon basin. Sandstorms, by contrast, typically occur within a few centimeters to meters above the ground. If you've experienced one, you know that they limit visibility at the human height while leaving clear skies above. Then we have aeolian deposition. When wind velocity decreases, transported materials settle down and create distinctive depositional features. The simplest form is a sand plane, an amorphous sheet of coarse sand spread across the landscape without a particular shape or significant relief. Think of the sand sheets in parts of Saudi Arabia's desert, where vast flat expanses of sand stretch to the horizon. More dramatic are desert sand dunes. These are mounds, ridges, or hills of loose windblown sand. These fascinating features migrate as wind blows and sand grains pile up the gentle windward slope, which then cascade down the steeper slip face on the leeward side. The Great Sand Dunes National Park in Colorado demonstrates this process beautifully, with dunes moving an average of 3 to 5 meters per year. So dunes come in several distinct forms. We have barchan dunes, which are the crescent shape with horns pointing downwind. These form in areas with limited sand supply and consistent wind direction. The Namib desert, in Africa contains textbook examples of these elegant crescents migrating across bare ground. Then we have transverse dunes, also form perpendicular to wind direction, but occur in areas with abundant sand. Their crescent shape is less uniform than the barchans, and the white sands of New Mexico showcase spectacular transverse dunes of gypsum sand. We also have seif dunes, and these are longitudinal dunes. They are long, narrow ridges parallel to the wind direction. Though they're rare in the United States, these are common in Sahara and Arabian deserts, where they can extend for kilometers in parallel formations. Their exact formation remains somewhat mysterious, likely involving complex wind patterns. Last we have star dunes. These are pyramid-shaped dunes with arms radiating in multiple directions. These giant dunes form in areas with variable wind directions. The Grand Erg Oriental in Algeria contains stunning examples rising over 300 meters high. We also have fossil sand dunes. In some locations, we find fossil sand dunes, which are ancient dunes preserved in rock. Throughout the southwestern United States, vast deposits of sandstone exhibit distinctive cross-bedding angled layers formed when sand slid down ancient dune slip faces. Zion National Park's spectacular cliffs showcase this cross-bedding beautifully, preserving massive dune systems from 190 million years ago, when this region was a vast desert. So wind landscape influence extends beyond deserts into our coastal and temperate regions. Coastal dunes form through a similar process, but typically incorporate vegetation. Unlike desert dunes, coastal systems often develop parabolic dunes. These are crescent-shaped dunes that form horns pointed into the wind. This is opposite the barchans. Oregon's coastal dunes demonstrate this pattern where stabilizing vegetation creates this distinctive form. We also have loess. These represent another significant wind deposit. These are fine-grained silt that lacks horizontal stratification, but has remarkable ability to stand in vertical cliffs. China's Loess Plateau contains deposits over 100 meters thick, supporting cave dwellings carved directly into the stable vertical walls. In the United States, the Mississippi River Valley features impressive loess bluffs deposited during glacial periods when winds picked up fine glacial outwash sediments and then deposited them in that region. So, in conclusion, while wind may seem gentle compared to crashing waves or flowing rivers, the aeolian processes have shaped vast portions of our planet's surface, from the migrating sand dunes of the Saharas to the fertile loess soils of China. Wind created landforms support diverse ecosystems and human activities worldwide. Thanks for joining you, and I will see you, or thanks for joining me, and I will see you in the next section.